it would be a catastrophic, you know, and I don't even want to say it, but it would be catastrophic if we lost to Seattle at Levi's Stadium. Could y'all? I don't want y'all to imagine, but could you? Oh my God, bro. We better not lose, and that's another
Especially
top.
knowing that the 49ers are the better team.
Oh yeah, we're the better team. Just all around every angle. I don't care about no 3-year thing. I know the 49ers don't. And that hey, they are locked in, loaded. Lock Purdy. Let's freaking go. We're coming from all angles. You know, even special teams, man, is good as gold. That's one person we haven't mentioned today. I know Robbie missed on a couple this year, but man, we're coming through as good as gold. And yeah, man. Seattle. I think we're going to see like the first matchup, but even enhanced. You know, of course, that was a catastrophic moment. Twice I said that, but that was just a devastating moment seeing that with Trey. Um, and Jimmy obviously stepped in, hit Dwelly, yada yada yada. We seen how it, but I think we're gonna see that kind of a score, maybe even more though. But it was 27-7, I believe. And I'm thinking, oh, and they got their touchdown on a blocked field goal, I think it
Yeah.
was. So I don't even think they scored. And then the refs helped them out a lot up in Seattle. So that could have been a lot worse. That was Thursday night. Who knows if they wanted to keep it close and whatnot. I think we're going to dismantle them. I think we're going to pummel them. And like Jay in the Bay likes to say, I think we're going to beat the breaks off of the freaking Seahawks. Hey, boy, we're about to mollywop them something tough like, you know, coming
I
through,
think
like I
I
said,
think
from all
honestly,
angles. So go
yeah.
ahead, Jay.
I think honestly it's going to be close like in the first quarter, maybe second quarter. The 49ers have kind of started slow. I don't know about you guys, but the Cardinals game, there wasn't that much juice involved in that game, if you know what I mean. Like once the Giants said, "Hey, we're going to rest our starters," and you knew that Jalen Hurts was starting for the Eagles, you kind of knew the Eagles were going to win that game. So the Niners really didn't have much to play for against the Cardinals. But obviously, it's a different story versus Seattle. But I think we've seen the last few games where a team or the opposing team could have a successful first drive against us, but as long as we don't allow that to continue, we'll be fine. But I think the key, I can get into the keys right now, or we're going to get into that a little bit
Yeah,
later.
hey,
Okay.
shoot for it, bro. Shoot.
It's going to be winning at the line of scrimmage. I think that's going to be key in this game. I mean, if you look at the Seahawks, the last two games they've played us, they haven't really been able to run the ball. I think they only have like 88 rushing yards total in the last two games. So basically, you got to force Geno to beat you. And Geno, he's been efficient, but he hasn't really. He's only thrown one touchdown, one interception, 435 yards the past two games. So that's not going to beat the 49ers, I don't think, or any playoff team. And you look at our running game versus Seattle defense, which they do struggle stopping the run. We've had over 300 rushing yards in two games, and obviously we've used multiple backs. So I think the keys for the game are simple. Obviously, don't turn the ball over. Force Geno to beat you, and then just run the ball down their throat. And it should be a fairly easy game, I think, for the Niners. I think the Seahawks have some playmakers in the secondary for sure. They've drafted well, but I just don't think it's going to be enough. I don't think Geno is going to beat the Niners at Levi's. I just don't see that happening.
The 49ers are the better football team, flat out. But I feel like there is a way the Seahawks can hang in this game, and that would be uh, ideal for the 49ers. So I spoke about Kenneth Walker earlier. Kenneth Walker is a supremely talented running back. He had over 100 yards last week. They gave Kenneth Walker the ball 29 times in that must-win game against the Rams last week. So that tells you. Now, the 49ers, on the other hand, as we know, great defense, but number one rated run defense in the NFL. So we have to keep that up because the Seahawks and Pete Carroll, historically, it's just a run-first team. They want to run the ball. So we need to be on our P's and Q's, continue to shut down the run, and just do what we've been doing all season because we've been holding opposing teams to like 60, 65 rushing yards on average. I mean, the rush defense has been phenomenal. But so let me tell you, the Seahawks are going to try to run the ball. But then what they're also going to do is I expect them to take some deep shots down the field. And one of my keys of the game is limit the big plays. Gino's going to launch a couple balls deep to DK Metcalf. I expect it's going to be, unless Charvarius Ward is following Metcalf, which he did a bit on that Thursday night game. Charvarius Ward, he doesn't follow 100% of the time. D'Amico seems to implement that strategically. Occasionally, Ward will follow around. But I look for the Seahawks try to get Metcalf one-on-one with Demo, and they're going to take some shots down the field. So we got to limit the big plays and also limit the pass interferences, right? Because when that ball's in the air, our guys can, even Charvarius Ward, Demo and Ward can both be a little overly physical and susceptible to some penalties on occasion. And that it didn't crop up. They weren't back-breaking penalties that we had from them this year, but it's just something in a one-game scenario. If you have a couple of these big PIs that, get you 40, 50-yard chunk yardage down the field, those can be game changers. So stop the run, limit the explosives, and then, like Jay said, take care of the ball on offense. If we're limiting the turnovers, then Niners are going to win this game.
Great points, Baller. Especially the turnovers. How efficient has Purdy been? I was looking at some stats, and last year I believe we were +4 on turnover differential, and this year we're +16. So it matters. It matters. We are playing efficient. Someone just threw in Singh just threw in a great stat saying the Seattle Seahawks defense is giving up. They're 31st on giving up yak yards. And I just had flashbacks to George Kittle, going off on him in the last game. But you made another great point, Eric, was I went back and watched both Seattle games a couple times, just the main plays and stuff. And I did not see them go deep too often. I can't really remember, just my memory. I don't think they went deep too often. But I was thinking as I was watching those two games, Pete Carroll's holding on to that. These guys have been facing each other. And these guys do that. These guys are playing chess to the fullest. And he's not going to show that if he knew there was a chance. And look, by chance, we're facing each other in the playoffs. I just think that, first of all, this is one of the biggest rivalries, in my opinion. I know LA has come in the past couple of years and whatnot. And then besides our division, you got Dallas and Green Bay, in my opinion, are the biggest rivals. But the Seahawks, I think they're the biggest rival, man. Still one of the biggest ones. And Pete Carroll and Shanahan, they know each other. So just like Shanahan's not going to show certain cards, Pete isn't either. So I think you got a good point on the deep ball. And typically you would see Lockett or Metcalf, get a couple shots a game. And I can't remember them even trying it really once on us both games. So I expect to see it. Go ahead, Jay.
I was just going to say the Seahawks, I think they've only scored one touchdown versus us in the past two games. Yep. And I think, in order to really throw the ball deep, which I agree with Barry Baller, I think it's something that they will do. And, Demo Lenore, he's kind of there's been some opportunities there for him to make some plays, and he hasn't always done that. So I agree with Barry Baller. Definitely got to watch, you obviously got to test it out. Some refs, they'll let you be more physical than others. That's something we'll find out within the first few drives on either side of the ball. But in order for Gino to really throw deep, he's got to have time to throw. And I don't think he's going to have that much time to throw with, the horses we have on the defensive line. So I think it's going to be a long day for the Seahawks at Levi's.
Yeah. And the one touchdown they did score, I think it was on a 15-yard pass or something like that. It was at the end of the game in the last game we played them. So another great point by you, Jay, by you as well, Eric. All right, man. So any other, if y'all got anything else for the 49ers versus Seahawks, I personally think, like I said previously, we're about to beat the brakes off of them. And I can't wait. We better. But if if it's close, it's close. A dub is a dub. I hope I'm not getting too ahead of myself. But it's win or go home time now. It's win or go home time.
Like everyone said, I think we're clearly the better team. I don't really see any player on their roster. I mean, you could argue their wide receivers, there might be a little bit better, but I think we just have more depth at pretty much every position. And yeah, the Seahawks are a talented team. I didn't expect them to be a playoff team, but I can't wait until Sunday. But